So I was going to give this a try. I can't do mobile live streaming. So this is Matt from the Dice of the Round Table. And what I'm doing is I am brush priming Mansions of Madness characters. And I just wanted to do something because something on my mind I wanted to put a little thing out there because I'm sure other people have done it is narrative versus tourney gameplay or competitive or whatever you want to call it. I call it tourney play, but narrative versus competitive play. So I'll get on with it while I paint through these guys or prime them. I'm using a Vallejo brush on primer right now, and the reason why I'm doing that is because my wife on the bottom of the bases wrote every character's name so we know what they are, and so I'm not spray priming them in case I cover that up. I don't want to undo the work she's done. So narrative versus competitive play. I can competitive play, but I like casual narrative play a lot better. And I know I am not the one that lets gaming companies, especially miniature gamers, to survive. Because I like narrative play. It's the competitive play I feel that makes and breaks games, keeps them alive, keeps them producing. Now my background is I've run Star Wars Armada as a competitive game. I've run tournaments. I've run bolt action tournaments in the local area. So I'm not a stranger to competitive play, and I know you can make tourney kits, and I've played in Armada tournaments too. I mean, I had a Armada list at one point that basically destroyed. It was It was only a 2-round tournament, but the 2 games I played, because I got a bye for the 3rd round, it demolished both fleets it played against. But I don't want to do that because that's not. I don't necessarily get fun from that. I get fun from chucking dice, having a conversation, and being with people and having fun together. And I feel like every time the dice and the miniatures and the table tell a story. And it's the story that I love. I play video games, and the video games I tend to like are the ones with story, a decent story. Star Wars Fallen Order I'm playing. I've done Halo series. My favorite in the Halo series is Reach. I think it's got one of the best stories in the series. ODST is pretty good. I think Halo 5 was really weak. But that's a tangent. So, whatever you enjoy, play the game for what you enjoy. But please, take into account the other people that are playing as well, because not everyone enjoys those I'm going to beat you senseless list that I got off the internet, or this is like the spam list that destroys you. And I think that's part of the reason why companies, you need it, because I need to do an FAQ. I need to take the Nerf hammer. I need a Nerf bat units. If you know what that means in the next FAQ, I'm going to reduce the benefit or the strength of a unit or increase its point cost. Or maybe cause you to have a limit on how many of a unit you could take. I get why you do that. I get why someone might go, hey, I got 10 of these units. It's what wins games. I mean, Legion at one point was you had to have 5 Star Wars Legion. In order to be competitive, it was 5. I think it was like 5 troops, and you had like 3 sniper units. And that's where you began. Now there's more stuff out there. They've nerfed some stuff. They've changed points. No one took an airspeeder at the beginning because it was too much point. It cost too much, but it was really cool. But they fixed things and they changed things, and part of it is, hey, no one's buying this model. We got a whole bunch of these models. Let's give people a reason to buy this model. I get it. Or everyone bought all that model, but they're not buying this model. Let's tweak this up a little bit so people have a reason to play with their other models. I get it. I do. It's business. This is a business before it's fun for most people, because let's be honest, if it wasn't a business, they wouldn't be making these toys for us to paint and assemble. But in the end, it is awesome that we get to use and buy and assemble and play with these things and come together. Why do I enjoy narrative play? I enjoy narrative play because, like I said, the story. However, there is, as I keep going down this bunny hole, there's been some great games and great ideas, and then someone comes along that they want to tweak something, and it's just like, oh my word, what were they thinking? And you know what? We don't get a chance to sit and interview or hear designers very often tell us why they changed something drastic. I'm sure you can think of something. I could think of Bold Action, Tiger Fear. This is April 2020 when I'm doing this video. Tiger Fear changed drastically, where now in a game where there is no pre-measuring, you can pre-measure if someone has Tiger Fear on the table. And Tiger Fear is only good for 12 inches. I'm sorry. 12 inches only works because that's how far I can see. Then you can't shoot me over 12 inches. Oh, that's a totally different axe that I want to grind one day. So either way, I play. I just did 2 live plays of solo Zona Alpha, for example. Zona Alpha has a really nice system. I do like the system. It's very straightforward. It's very simple. It's D10 based, which I'm growing a strong like for, because I like the ease of detecting the percentage rates of success or failure. It's just really easy on D10. I know some people have a lot better head on their heads, or mind on their heads about math and being able to calculate. I can't calculate on D6. I can do thirds. I turn into like thirds, but not a straight up percentage like some people can, or a D8. So give me a D10 so I can just sit there and quickly calculate what are the chances of me actually passing. However, I don't like the end game. I mean, because it's a narrative, I should be working towards something. After 2 scenes with minimal gear purchase, my crew's almost at endgame. It got some artifacts. It's a random roll, and I rolled really well, and I have 8,000 credits out of 10,000. And when you hit 10,000, you're supposed to retire, and it's like, why would I not just retire? I mean, if 10,000 is the goal, just retire and move on. So I feel like the end goal wasn't played out very well for the amount of randomness. Now someone's like, wow, but look what happened. Okay, so I had one guy who could dig twice for an artifact, dug twice, lo and behold, it became an anomaly, so I got to find an artifact, and because he dug twice, he passed his check, so he dug twice and got 2 artifacts instead of 1. Okay, so even if that was the case, after 1 game, I was at 13. So crew's going to last, if you get minimum, you're looking at maybe 10 games. 1 crew, 10 games into the excursion zone, and that's it. And you know what? That's fine, but that's not going to be the average experience. So I think the average experience is going to be about 5 games. If you do it right, you're going to get your credits in about 5 games, and your crew's set to retire, and it's time to make a new crew. Which, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. I wanted something a little bit more long in my duration. I enjoy setting up bold action tables, and when I set up bold action tables, I like having a story it tells, and it gets me into it, lets me try different units instead I was playing some live games that are on the channel, and I had Ostro open. I've never had Ostro open before, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give Ostro open a try, and the dice told a story. And part of that is you cheer together, cry together for that sucks, pout, empathy, and so forth. But I think everyone's having a good time because you're cheering with the good and the bad dice rolls, cheering together and then getting the high moments. Competitive play, I get it. If you're playing, go for it. Just be prepared. I mean, I've been in plenty of competitive environments, and there's enough of a jerk vibe. Some games bring more than others. I feel like when games have a low entry point, you tend to get more people that are cutthroat and they jump from game to game because they get burnt out, I feel like sometimes, because they're not very friendly. So if you are playing competitive, please, I encourage you. You don't know who's on the other side. Get to know them a little bit. Get a feel for them. And when it's a bad day for their dice, come on, have some sympathy. Don't be like, oh, look what I did to you. I was watching someone play a game, and before the other person got to roll dice, they ended up losing, 2/10. So 20% of their force. 20% of their force was gone. And he's like, oh, look what I done. Woo, look at me, look at me. And it's like, how is the other guy feeling right now? The other guy isn't here for fun. It wasn't even a tournament. This was supposed to be a casual game, laid back. The game? I'm not going to name the game. But it can be played either way. And I feel like the game that wasn't being mentioned, it can be played very casually, it can be played very narratively, or it can be played super and competitive. But come on, there's other people. It's just not your enjoyment. If you have to be out there to crush everyone, I'm telling you, there's other ways to play. You can crush everyone, but smile while you're doing it. Make sure the other person might be learning. You might have knowledge that they don't have. Share it, because you know what? Honestly, I didn't realize how much I knew and how much I do without thinking. And I'm sure a lot of people do that. There's a lot of things we do without thinking in games, why we might position someone, why we might target something before another unit, or why we might ignore a unit. And it just comes down to experience and knowledge and way our brains think. And some people, they think differently, and because of that, they need to be taught. And I was in a situation recently, and I was explaining some stuff, and they were asking me questions, and I'm like, and I just saw in my head, I'm like, wow, I know more than what I thought I did about tactics. And because I walked around a lot and going, I just don't know as much as these people. I just play. I play by my gut. I play from what I feel. I just play with a feeling. I do. I'm not very mechanical in my play style, and sometimes that messes with people because they're used to like a mechanical gameplay, like you always do this with this unit, and it's like, you know what? Nope, I'm doing this with that unit. No, you don't do that. That's not what that unit's there for. It is today by me, because you know what? It's not working the other way, so I'm going to throw a wrench and play a different way. So, how do you like to play? Are you competitive? Are you casual? Are you narrative? What do you like to do? My new project I'm looking into getting into is American Civil War in 15 millimeter. I'm looking to do some maybe epic play. I'm not looking to replay the historics though. So I'm not looking to reproduce a certain division, a certain army. I'm going to have some Confederates. I'm going to have some Americans. I'm going to probably set up some what-if battles, some skirmish battles, just because I like the era and I want to see how the rules play out, because Civil War, Napoleonics, there was just a different way that the battles were fought. Artillery had a different feel and so forth. Right now I'm looking at Across the Deadly Field by Osprey. As the rule set, as I'm going to be looking into exploring. So Probably a little bit more of that on the channel. Until then, thanks for tuning in for this little chat. This is something I've been wanting to talk about and see if there's any comments, see how other people resonate with it. And I was just sitting here priming up some of these Mansions of Madness figures. So drop something in the comments if you have feelings either way. Maybe you have an experience you want to share that opened up your eyes, maybe something that happened to you that other people might not realize because they were on the other side of the table. And be courteous, be kind in the comments, because this is about people's experiences, you know? Everyone's experience is different. We should all come to the table and at least be able to have fun playing these games together. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like it if you appreciated this little chit chat while I was hobbying. Take care.